So you're on YouTube searching for how you can become a millionaire as a teen. Good for you. You're already way ahead of 99% of your peers when it comes to crushing your money. But many of the search results that pop up are filled with lies. Yep, you're being deceived when it comes to how you can build wealth as a teenager. In this video, I'm going to show you the 9 actions you can take as a teen, or an adult for that matter, to become a millionaire. Now, all of these actions are important, but there are a couple in particular that could literally save you from making $2 million mistakes before you turn 18. What's up, everyone? My name is Matt Matheson. I am a personal finance writer, teacher, and school principal, and I'm also the founder of Family Money School. And this channel is all about helping kids and the parents who love them become money rock stars. Okay, so I said you're being lied to. That's a bold claim, but it's one that I'm more than willing to back up. Now, the people making these videos, the ones showing them standing in front of their Bentleys giving financial advice, or getting off on their private jets, or literally swimming in dollar bills, they probably aren't bad people. I mean, they may be. I have no idea. I don't know them, and I'm not going to vouch for their character. But I will tell you there's a good chance they aren't actually wealthy. And if they are the exception to the rule for getting rich. So I've been throwing around the words rich and wealthy, but it's important for you to understand that there is a key difference. Now, this is a difference that a lot of people making these videos don't even understand. In fact, I heard one guy say, so you make $1 million in 1 year. You're a millionaire. No, you're not. You may be, but until you show me your net worth, I have no idea if you're actually a millionaire. You may have lots of nice stuff. Sure, big house, Ferrari, Rolex, or Rolex is. But there's a very good chance that you may be what Texans refer to as big hat, no cattle. In other words, you look rich, but you don't actually own any assets to back that up. You have a massive mortgage on your fancy shack that you can barely afford. The car payment on your Ferrari is bigger than most people's mortgages, and your watches, well, they were all bought with credit cards. Big hat, no cattle. Being rich has to do with how much money you earn. What is your salary? How big is your paycheck? Being wealthy, on the other hand, isn't about what you earn or the things you own. It's about freedom. The freedom to be able to wake up each morning knowing that you can do whatever you want that day. Rich people may have very nice things, but they often have no freedom. They borrow massive amounts of money to drive their expensive cars and live in $1 million homes and go on crazy vacations. But they often need to work 80 hours a week to make the payments for these vehicles and homes and vacations, which inevitably they end up working on. Then when they lose their job or the economy goes sideways, they have nothing of value to show for their hard work, except of course for the mountains of debt they've accumulated. Being wealthy, on the other hand, is all about the freedom that comes from having assets. Assets are things that provide some type of future financial benefit, as opposed to liabilities that present a future obligation. In real simple terms, assets put money in your pocket while liabilities take money out. Assets are things that pay you or that you can turn into cash, things like investments, real estate, collectibles. And liabilities, on the other hand, well, they're the opposite of assets, and they're things that you owe money on. In other words, it's just a fancy way of saying debt. In order to be wealthy, you need to pile up assets and minimize debt. The difference between the value of your assets and your debt is called your net worth. And the higher your net worth, the greater your financial freedom. So to be clear, we're talking about things you can do as a teen to become wealthy, not just rich. Now, for most people, this will take time. Sure, some people do become millionaires before the age of 30. These people are often super hard workers who have started an incredibly successful business and gotten very lucky to build wealth that quickly. They are, in other words, the 1%. Now, you may be in the 1%. If so, great, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. But for the rest of us, the 99%, the path to true wealth is to get rich slowly. Because the average age for millionaires isn't 26, as YouTube would have you believe. It's actually in your late 50s. So let me show you how you can make that happen. Now, before we do, speaking of YouTube, I just kind of threw some shade there, and I want to play nice with YouTube so that more people can see these videos. Could you help me out a little bit by giving the subscribe button a little tapski and just turning on notifications so that you can check out my videos? Thanks so much. Okay, let's dive in. So the first action you need to take is to start earning money. Now, there are lots of ways you can do this. It can be at traditional jobs like, working at Old Navy, bagging groceries, or babysitting. Or you could opt for something a bit different and be your own boss by starting your own business as an entrepreneur. Are you good at a particular subject in school? You could help others by being a tutor. If you have 2 feet and a heartbeat, you can cut lawns in your neighborhood. You could buy items from garage sales, flea markets, or Facebook Marketplace, refinish, fix, or spruce them up and resell them for a profit. And depending on the success level of your enterprise, you could even hire employees to do the tutoring, mowing, and fixing up for you. Building a business and growing wealth often go hand in hand. You'd be hard pressed to find a millionaire under the age of 30 who isn't an entrepreneur of some kind. Trust fund babies notwithstanding. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that if you show me a young, self-made millionaire, I'll show you someone who has started a successful business. Now, regardless of what you do, it's critical that you start making money in your teens. It is, after all, the first step to building wealth for a reason. Next, you'll need to save your money. Remember, rich people spend everything they make to look wealthy. Wealthy people, on the other hand, they save most of what they make and put their money to work for them, which we'll talk about in just a second. Now, there are some key techniques to make sure you're always saving enough to grow wealthy. First, set the percentage that you want to save. Now, this number can change based on the age and stage of your life, but it should never dip below 10%. So what that means is that you'll need to learn to live on 90% or less of your income. You'll often hear people refer to this as living below your means. Now, in order to do this, you'll need to have a plan for your money, which is called a budget. And you can check out my video on how to build a budget to get rolling with that. The second step to saving is the most critical. You need to automate it. This means setting up automatic withdrawals from your bank account every month. Now, by making your savings automatic, you'll only need to make the wise decision to save one time. After that, the automation takes over and does it all for you. The money you save, it's dead to you, it's gone, it's unspendable until well into the future. And after a while, I'll tell you, you won't even miss it. Now, if you don't automate, you'll need to make the conscious decision every month to save. And I can guarantee that you will want to spend that money on a variety of different things. Don't make that mistake. The other savings killer is social comparison. It is literally the grim reaper of saving money. Looking at the countless pictures and videos in your Instagram feed of the well-dressed, smiling, beautiful people doing fun things with fun toys and fun places makes us feel discontent. And discontent people often spend money on things they don't really need or even want to make themselves feel better. Don't fall into this trap. Now, I'm not saying delete your social media accounts, although it's not a terrible idea, but be sure to limit your time and try to stick to connecting with just a few close friends. So now that you're saving all this money, you need to start to put it to work for you. This means starting to invest early in the stock market. Now, as a teen, you have a huge advantage over anybody older than you. In fact, it's the same advantage that 90-year-old Warren Buffett used to become a billionaire. Okay, so I know you're wondering, what is this advantage? Time. Warren Buffett started investing at 11 years old. By the age of 20, by starting a variety of businesses, he sold all sorts of things. He sold gum, golf balls, rented out pinball machines. He had amassed a fortune of $5,000, or over $53,000 in today's money. That's impressive, but it's not enough to land him on the richest people in the world list. Now, by starting his own company and continuing to earn money and invest, by the age of 32, he had made his first million. Again, not bad, but not flashy enough to land him millions of subscribers if YouTube had been around. Buffett continued this process of working hard and investing, becoming a billionaire at the age of 55. But 99 billion of his 100 billion net worth came after he turned 55. So how was he able to amass such wealth? Time and harnessing the power of compounding, which is simply when you earn interest on interest. If he was a more normal person, waiting until he was in his 30s to start seriously investing, then retiring at 60 to travel with his wife, spend more time with his grandkids, and play golf with his buddies, like most people dream of doing, how would his wealth have been different? Well, I'll tell you, instead of being worth 100 billion, he'd be worth around 12 million. Now, 12 million is nothing to snuff at, but Warren Buffett wouldn't be the billionaire or household name he is today. Now, Warren Buffett is a great investor, no question about it, but his real superpower is that he bought stocks and held onto them for a very long time. Now, this strategy is known as buy and hold, and it's a superpower that you can have too. Next, you've got to develop your education. Now, even though I'm a big proponent of post-secondary education and I love degrees that are marketable, this may or may not mean going to college. There are lots of great careers that don't require a degree. Jobs like computer programmers, ultrasound technicians, or plant operators may just require specific certifications or vocational school degrees. Whatever the degree, diploma, or certificate, just be sure that it is marketable. This means that there's a high demand for people with these skills. There's better opportunities, there's more jobs, and the potential is there to earn more. Now, going to school is only one small part of building your education. 24/7 access to information means there's no excuse for not learning and growing in the knowledge and skills you need to set yourself apart from other people. With YouTube, Coursera, Udacity, and literally countless other sites offering free and paid learning opportunities, the chance to build your skill set has never been more accessible. Okay, we're 3 steps away from me dropping a massive knowledge bomb that is going to absolutely blow you away. But before we get there, let's talk about an often overlooked way to build wealth as a teenager. Hitting the subscribe button. Now, of course, I'm just messing with you. I'm talking about finding a mentor. Some of the best experience you can get is learning from highly skilled people in your field. That's why finding a mentor can be extremely valuable. And when you're searching for a mentor, look for someone who is living the same values that you hold. They have similar goals and they're basically living the life you want, but they're 5, 10, or 20 years ahead of you. Then reach out to them and offer to work for free. That's right, you didn't mishear me. Find someone in your field of interest who is killing it and offer to volunteer for them. Tell them you'll do whatever they need doing, the hard, dirty, difficult, crappy jobs no one wants to do, as long as you can watch and observe them on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you're not sure where to find someone who fits that description, start by asking your parents if they know anyone. You could look at your church, Chamber of Commerce, or online in Facebook groups, YouTube channels, or on LinkedIn. Highly successful people never stop learning. They know that in order to stay ahead of their competition, they've got to keep growing and improving. To do that, they turn to reading, which helps keep them sharp, well-informed, and ahead of their peers. And you should too. In fact, most millionaires read for close to 6 hours a week. And 85% of self-made millionaires, they read 2 or more books a month. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what are they reading? Well, I'll tell you, it's not Harry Potter. Mostly they're reading non-fiction books designed to help them learn and grow. Things like biographies, self-help, and history books. Some favorites of mine are The Millionaire Next Door, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Proverbs from the Good Book, Millionaire Teacher, and The Psychology of Money. Now, if you don't feel like you have the time to read, use audiobooks. I use Audible to listen to tons of different books while I work out, commute, or mow the lawn. And if you can't afford a subscription, check out your local library, which often has audiobooks you can download and listen to on your phone for free. Now, before I rock your world like a hurricane with this next tip, I have to warn you, it's going to seem too simple, but don't let the simplicity of it distract you from its power. Okay, you ready? One of the most important things you can do as a teenager to build wealth is to surround yourself with friends who challenge and teach you. Let me repeat that to give it a chance to sink in. The people we surround ourselves with are the biggest influence on our behavior, attitudes, and ultimately our results. Whether your goals and aspirations are financial, relational, spiritual, or physical, the most important tools you have at your disposal are other people. And who you are around, what they're thinking, saying, doing, and becoming, it sets the course of your life. Motivational speaker Jim Rohn is often quoted as saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. These people you surround yourself with, they shape who you are. They impact the attitudes and behaviors you see and hear, and eventually you'll even start to think and act like they do. There's even a fancy name for it, social contagion. It's like catching a cold of the behaviors, attitudes, and impacts of those around you. In fact, Harvard social psychologist Dr. David McClellan went so far as to say that the people you regularly hang out with determine as much as 95% of your success or failure in life. That is insane. So be sure to surround yourself with like-minded high flyers like you. Doing so could be the difference between being a millionaire or being broke. All this focus on your finances is important, but if you're not careful, you can be consumed by thinking about money all the time. Before you know it, you can find that money has too big an influence in your life, and in some situations can even control you. Having lots of money is great, but if it consumes you, it's actually very depressing. Think about all the rich and famous people who end up living sad, lonely, unfulfilled lives, even though they were loaded. That's why learning to be generous is so key. Now, for most people, giving away large amounts of your money seems crazy. But to the 55% of millionaires who give to churches or charities on a regular or monthly basis, it makes perfect sense. By giving generously, not only can you experience the joy that comes from helping others, you show your money that you're in control of it and not the other way around. Okay, so you've made wise choices with your money, you're constantly learning, and you're being generous. You've created a life that is the envy of many. But what good is it if you can't live to enjoy it? That's why it's critical to take care of your health. Lots of people sacrifice their health to build wealth when they are young, and then when they're old, they need to spend their wealth to maintain their health. This is craziness, and millionaires know it, which is why 76% of them exercise for 30 minutes or more each day. Follow their lead. Also, be sure to drink lots of water, eat tons of vegetables and fruits, along with the occasional pizza, and get at least 7 hours of sleep at night. Now, doing so will increase the chances you'll be able to enjoy the fruits of your hard work for a long time. Now, all these actions are important to becoming a millionaire, but without some type of income, you'll never be able to start building true wealth. So in the next video, I'll share the top side hustle ideas you can start as a teenager or adult to make a ton of money. I'll see you there.